Hello there, I'm Yami and this is my hair coloring tutorial for colored pencils. Disclaimer, this isn't the perfect method, this isn't the only method, and this isn't the best method. But I think that this is a good method, I use it personally, and I just wanted to make a tutorial on that. Anyway, let's get started. This is the sketch we'll be coloring today. As you can see, it's just super quick, nothing too fancy. But I wanted to show you guys the sketch because the sketch is actually very important to coloring hair. Because what helps me a lot and what can help a lot of beginner artists is to section out the hair instead of just drawing general outline or shape. Because when you section out the hair, you can strategically color it section by section instead of just doing the whole thing. And also, it helps to get a better image of which way the hair goes if you're going to draw really complicated hair with curls and sections. Like this part, it's very useful to have the lines and sections out. Now for the colors. For coloring hair with colored pencil specifically, I want to use at least 3 colors I prefer 4 because blending is a lot easier with multiple colors, and I'll show you how to blend so it all works out. So, the first color you'll need, the first color you'll lay down to, will be your neutral color. Say I wanted to make her hair green. So I wanted to choose a very neutral green. And then you want to have your lightest color and your darkest color. Your lightest color and your darkest color can be switched in this order. And then, what I prefer to have, you don't need this, but I like it, is to have a 4th color that adds depth. A 4th color that's kind of a little bit out of the color set. See, this isn't actually green, it's more of a turquoise-ish color, a bright turquoise color. And what this does is, this is a color to complement the other colors, but not an actual complement. But this is a color that's similar to the other colors, but it's slightly different just enough so that it can give it depth and volume. Alright, now let me show you why you need at least 3 colors. I've already drawn up some samples of what it looks like to have varying numbers of colors. You see here you only have 1 color, that's your neutral base color. And so with this 1 color, you can see that you can get some gradation out of it, but it's very simple and flat. Now with 2 colors, your neutral color and your lightest color, it blends it a bit more and smooths it out because the lighter color will do that. And it makes it look a bit brighter, but it's still not as good as you'd like. It doesn't have that depth, it looks pretty flat. And so with 3, which is the bare minimum for what you need for a good drawing, I'd think, you have your neutral color, your lightest color, and your darkest color. These 3 right here. And you can see that the darkest color really gives it that depth. And so using all 3 colors, it blends up pretty nicely. And this is what I use for drawings, is 4 colors. As you can see, the 4th color isn't really visible by itself as a color, but it does give more dimension to the picture somehow, and it helps smooth things over, and adding that extra color will make the other colors darker and intense, and plus the added blue just makes the green richer. Now I'm going to show you technique. So, your neutral color. You want to, when drawing hair, you want to make sure all the strands are in the same direction, and you want to have light, fluffy strokes, sort of. You want to start on the paper and kind of whip off like that. Now with the neutral color, you don't have to define each strand, but you can. What I prefer to do for the neutral color, since it's the first color you apply, is just create the simple color that just covers the whole thing beforehand. Now as you can see, I'm having a straight line here, but not really here. Here it kind of feathers out. I'm doing that because this shows the highlight for the hair. Because when you see hair shiny, you don't actually see a solid shine like you do for smooth objects like a can or a ball. You see each strand shine out and each strand fall in a shadow. And so this is a good way to replicate that for drawing purposes. As you can see with the first layer too, I still have to shade. Make it darker here, lighter here, etc., etc. You know how to shade. Next, I use the lightest color. The lightest color, I want this layer of color to be beyond the neutral color, still making it light and feathery, lifting off the page. As you can see, this time I'm coloring more of the white of the paper from the first layer that I didn't cover. That's what I find the lightest color does best, and also just makes a more gradual shift towards the highlight. Next, your darkest color. Now with the darkest color, this is where you want to define each strand and use the pencil more at a point and not at an angle, because you don't want to just have general coverage anymore. You want to make it look like hair. It's best to have a sharpened pencil, which this isn't the sharpest it can be right now, but it'll do. Now for this one, with this layer, you don't want it to extend too far from the neutral color, if you can still see where that is. But yeah, you want it to stay behind the neutral color, because from then on, if you have too much of your darkest color beyond, it will just turn back some of the gradation you've created. You can have one strand or two go beyond that, and that makes it look more realistic. But don't have the whole thing go past the neutral color. Next, your fourth color. This color, this can go beyond the neutral color, but not beyond the highlight color. Well, the lightest color, not the highlight. And what this does, it just adds that one extra color to the mix and makes it look more in-depth. This color doesn't need to be sharp or crisp. It's like the first layer, and it just needs to cover the area. It doesn't have to look like hair. But still, even though you don't want it to look like hair, or you don't need it to look like hair, you still want to draw in the same direction as all the other colors, because you want to make it look like hair. And so there you go. As you can see, I've made a general gradation. It might not look a lot like hair right now because you don't have a lot of defined strands. So what you can do is, with either your neutral color or your darkest color or both, is go back and use the tip of the pencil and make strands. Still following the same general rules, don't cross where this color ends, etc., etc., even though I did that with the neutral color. I mean, how it works is, the neutral color can pass a little bit beyond the lightest color occasionally, because it goes from lightest to darkest. And the darkest color can pass beyond the neutral color a little bit, but not into the highest, the lightest color. Alright, starting from the top, the very top where the roots are, you do that same technique, you follow where the hair goes, the direction in which the strands go, and just make light fluffy strokes. Keep in mind where you want the highlight, like with this picture I want the highlight to be here, where the roundest part of the curve is, so I don't draw there. And then you go to the tips of the hair, you just do the same towards the highlight. Like so. Then you take your lightest color, and as I said before, go a little bit beyond your neutral color, but still make the highlight definable. Yeah, this isn't the best kind of paper. It's really soft, and you can see the lines from my previous sketch on it and my failed attempts through the coloring, but that's fine because this is just a sketch from my sketchbook. Now with the dark color, you want to define each strand, or some strands. Go from the roots outward and the tips outward. With the fourth color, you generally cover that area. And don't go past the highlight. Well, not the highlight, the lightest color. And that's one strand of hair down. Well, not strand, the section of hair. And you just keep doing that method all throughout. You don't have to do it section by section. What you could do is do multiple sections at a time, or just do all sections. You could color the whole thing color by color instead of section by section, which I guess it's possible, but I personally do not like this method. Like here, you can go with your neutral color, just do your neutral color first, and your lightest color, your darkest color. I'm doing this really quickly, and because of that, my line quality and the coloring quality aren't the best they could be, so if you want to use this for actual finished drawings, don't do what I'm doing, actually take time. And then your fourth color. Now, I don't think one method is faster than the other, because you're doing the same amount of work. But I guess it's just the method you'd prefer, well, the coloring method you'd prefer, over the other. And I don't know what I'm saying at this point. So I guess I'll just put it in time-lapse and color the rest of it. There you go! Even though I rushed on this, you can see it still turned out pretty decent, and that's because of the number of colors I used. That really adds depth, because even if you haphazardly use this technique, you will still get a pretty good result, and you might even be able to pass it off as avant-garde if you don't do a good job of it. Anyway, so thank you for watching my tutorial. This was the first one I've ever done, you can probably tell. But, I promise that if you follow my channel, they will probably most likely they will have to get better. Today was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. I've been wanting to do a hair tutorial for a long time and just never sat down to do it, and so I thought to myself, you know, just get it over with, and I did. I will probably remake it in the future, but until then you can check out my channel. I do a lot of drawing time lapses there, and if you look at my older videos you'll probably cringe, but I have pretty good ones right now, because as an artist you improve, most should anyway. But yeah, definitely check that out if you want to, I won't make you, and all that other promotional crap that I'm obliged to say at the end of a video, because, you know, social media, etc, etc. Again, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in my next video.